Do you consider yourself to be deeply empathetic? If you do, then you definitely want to stick around and listen to the conversation that we're going to have today with Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for being here.
You are so welcome. I am glad to be here. I love talking about all things empaths and sensitive people. So, yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you to those who are either watching or listening to us today. Rachel Hudson is a certified life coach, as well as a yoga and meditation teacher and a Reiki master. And my name is Mandi Gardner. I'm the founder of Holistic Evolution Shala. I am a trauma informed Ashtanga yoga teacher, as well as a DBT skills coach.
How would something like DBT and boundaries go together? Or is that part of
It's
it?
a really good question. So, it's a pretty complicated question, actually.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm
what
here
I
for
have found is, and everyone's going to have their own sort of set of boundaries and what they're willing to deal with or not deal with, right? And for me, struggling with a trauma background, it was really hard for me to know, is it healthy to expect this, or is this crazy of me to expect this? And I read this in a book. It was the Yoga Sutras by BKS Iyengar. And he
a lovely
talked
book.
about protecting your peace. And that really resonated with me.
Ooh,
Is it disrupting my peace? And if it is disrupting my peace, do I really need to do this thing? Like, how important is it that I do this thing? And if it's disrupting my peace, is there a way that I could perhaps take it out of my life or shift gears? So maybe we could allow the peace in our heart to be this standing point that we ground on, holding to our boundaries, right? We all know that spending time with family can bring up some
oh,
emotions,
yes.
right?
Lovely.
To protect my peace, what I do is I make sure to have a car and keys. So if I need to leave, I can leave. And I make sure to park somewhere that I'm not getting blocked in. And then that way, if I need to leave, I can just gracefully be like, okay, and I'm out of here. And I'm going to
That
go.
is so
Right.
interesting because I was going to bring up if it came across like empaths feel or sensitive people feel overwhelmed in social situations that are just a lot going on. Because for me, I have to balance my alone time with people time. And that is what I learned from Judith Orloff. She's take your own car. And if you like be really firm on that you can leave when you need to leave if you're getting
Yep.
too overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So we are totally on the same page with that. It actually gives me a little bit of freedom instead of feeling like I'm backed into a corner or trapped in a social situation that I am incredibly uncomfortable with.
It goes the same with relationships in your family or relationships with your partner. Is it disrupting your peace? And is there a way that you can ask for a certain thing or a certain limitation, certain boundary, or whatever it is that you need so that it doesn't disrupt your peace? I'd love to
Yeah.
share what's called the Dear Man. So it's a DBT skill that I use all the time. I think it is really fantastic. It really
Good.
helps. So, one of the things when we are learning to establish healthy boundaries or healthy limitations with people in relationships is learning how to communicate effectively, right? So,
Mm,
learning how to communicate your emotions, your thoughts, your desires, right, in an effective manner that doesn't make the other person feel attacked, right?
yeah.
So, if there's a situation that you're wanting to ask for something or assert something, like, okay, maybe a situation happened and you are just not okay with how it went down, right?
Mm,
Or you're trying to ask something around, to someone that could potentially be really a sensitive topic. So, dear man, so I'll go through it and then I'll give you a real life example.
yeah.
So D is describe. So describe what happened with all the facts, no emotions, no judgments, right? Just Here's the facts. This is what happened. And then express how this made me feel. So this thing happened, and this is how it made me feel. And then ask or assert. So then you can ask, would it be possible if next time you would, or the next time this happens, would you be willing to XYZ, right? And then R is reward. So, what's the positive effect that will happen if you do what I'm asking you to do? Offer that reward. So, if you're able to do this, that would really help in creating more trust in our relationship or offering whatever that reward is going to be. And then the man part is doing it with mindfulness. So being aware that you both need to be in a grounded, calm state, right? If someone is triggered, this is not the time to have a conversation, right? Appear confident. So when you're having this challenging conversation and you're asking for your needs to be fulfilled, you appear confident and make eye contact and don't be bashful and don't make apologies. You don't have to apologize for how you feel. You get to say, this is how I feel, and this is how I would prefer that it would happen next time. And then negotiate. Be willing to negotiate. Be willing to go back and forth and maybe compromise on whatever it is that you are asking for. So I'll give you a real life example. How I found out that she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder is that we moved in together and I lived with her. And so the facade of a relationship that I thought we had dissolved, and a lot of behaviors started happening that I was very confused about. Anyway, fast forward. So living together wasn't healthy for either of us. It was not a positive or productive experience. And so we put the townhome on the market after 2 years. And in trying to sell the townhome, I normally would never go into the basement level, which was her level, because that was her area. But because we're getting ready to sell and the realtor is coming to do a tour, I walked downstairs and there was a kitty litter box that was overflowing with feces and cat pee.
Okay.
And I was really concerned about bringing this up. I thought that it would go into
Yeah.
a huge
That's gonna be a
dramatic
thing.
fight, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, like, how am I going to talk about this thing and not make her feel offended? And so what I did is and this is great to do in a text message because you can edit it to your heart's desire, right? And take out all the violent language and make
Mm,
it very
mhm.
non-violent, right? Describe. Hey mom, I was preparing for the realtor to come and do a walkthrough, and I noticed that there was some cat pee and poo around the litter box and onto the carpet. Okay, so I described the facts, right? I didn't
Okay.
make any judgments. I didn't say, oh my God, mom, what the crap? I didn't make any
Wasn't
harsh
so that is
judgments, right? I
D for
just
describe. It's
described it in its
really
facts,
facty.
right?
Okay.
And then I expressed my emotions about it. So I'm really concerned that this is going to inhibit our ability to sell the townhome. Ask, would it be
Mm.
possible for us to get are the carpets cleaned and maybe get like a special solution for the cat pee? Reward. If we were able to get the carpets cleaned, I think we'd have a much better chance at selling the townhome. So, guess how that was received?
Wow, that was just like it was beautiful.
It
I'm
was
like,
received really well. She didn't get her feelings hurt. I didn't feel like I had to attack her. She didn't feel attacked. I was able to get my point across and ask for what I needed without her feeling judged or harshly criticized. And she responded in a really positive way and was like, oh, you're right. That'd be great. And I will totally pay for that and I'll schedule it for Monday.
that
And
totally,
I
like,
was like,
neutralized something that could have
wow.
been so explosive.
Yes,
It could have
yes,
been it could have been such a challenge, but
yes. So
that
not only can you use
really
this
fun to
in like personal life, but you can
yeah.
use this at work
I
too.
was just
Like
gonna
this is
say at work,
such an
yeah.
amazing tool. Dear
That
man,
is
all the way.
amazing. Instead of MAN is mindfulness, just like how
Mhm.
you're approaching it
So be
maybe?
mindful of the situation.
Right?
Be mindful because you want to, when you're having these conversations, you want to make sure that both parties are calm and emotionally regulated. If
Okay.
someone's triggered, this conversation is not going to be productive. And so when someone is emotionally heightened or triggered, it's really important to pause and to turn to self care. Go distract yourself, calm yourself down, get yourself regulated again, and then we can approach this conversation. And part of that has to do with the emotion mind and the rational mind,
Mm.
and how if we are really engaged in our emotion mind, we quite literally cannot access our rational mind. So therefore, we're not making sense.
Yeah.
We're being
The
completely irrational, right? I've been there. I know this
Oh,
happens. The dialectic helps to bring the two together so we can find our wise mind. And our wise mind is the hybrid of both. And that's what
yeah, that
DBT is.
meeting in the middle, it feels really like you are getting as close to a neutral spot as you can, like communicating and not have these really touchy subjects, especially if you're really close. Our tone can set somebody off.
Absolutely.
Now, this is
Absolutely.
great. Wow.
Yeah,
So
mindfulness of tone, that's another part of it.
the other person doesn't even have to know about this, or do they have
No,
to
they
kinda,
don't need
like,
to know
agree?
about it at
Okay, it's
all. Just a way to frame your messaging.
it's helpful.
It's super helpful.
It's yeah, I'm sure there's more skills than just the dear man skills with
Mhm.
GBT.
That's just one little gem, one
Wow,
little
that
nugget.
is
There's lots.
you can reach me at rachelkhudson.com, and your website is once again?
It's holisticevolutionshala.com. Will
Thank
do.
you so
Oh,
much,
thank
and
you, Rachel.
thank you.